You glance at the clock, panic. Again, running late for everything. Friends call it rude. Your boss calls it unprofessional. You call it inevitable. But what if your persistent tardiness isn't a flaw in your character or even your time management skills? What if it's a profound, unconscious reflection of who you are? Today, we dive deep into the mind of the perpetually late, uncovering the 4 surprising psychological traits that make them run behind. For years, lateness has been unfairly branded as disrespectful, a sign of disorganization, laziness, a blatant disregard for others' time. But psychology tells a far more nuanced story, one where tardiness is less a flaw and more a fascinating window into cognitive biases and personality types. We're going beyond the surface-level excuses, beyond the simple lack of planning, to examine the subconscious wiring that truly drives the chronically late. So, if you've ever wondered why you just can't seem to be on time, prepare to understand yourself and others on a whole new level. Trait number 1, the optimism bias. This is arguably the biggest culprit, especially for people who genuinely hate being late. They don't intend to be late, they simply and sincerely believe they can do more in less time. They are convinced they can squeeze a 45-minute commute into 20 minutes or finish a complex report in a fraction of the time it usually takes. As this isn't deluding themselves, it's a cognitive bias where future outcomes are consistently predicted to be more positive than they realistically will be. Oh, traffic will be fine today. Or I can just do X, Y, and Z before I leave. This over-optimism extends to everything from travel times to how long it takes to find keys. And when reality inevitably hits, they're not malicious, just genuinely surprised that their personal timeline didn't manifest. It's a fundamental misjudgment of time, rooted in a positive outlook that, paradoxically, leads to negative outcomes. They truly believe they'll beat the clock until they don't. Trait number 2, multitasking adrenaline. For some habitually late people, time management isn't just about efficiency, it's about excitement. These individuals, often type B personalities, thrive on the last-minute rush. They subconsciously delay starting a task until the pressure is highest, creating a burst of adrenaline that makes them feel more efficient, focused, or even alive. The looming deadline, the ticking clock, these aren't stressors to avoid, but triggers for a peak performance state. Imagine trying to fold laundry or send one more email before heading out. It's not that they forgot they had to leave, it's that those final, frantic moments provide a dopamine hit, a reward for their heroic last-minute sprint. They are drawn to the thrill of cutting it close, of proving to themselves that they can conquer time itself. This makes lateness a self-reinforcing cycle. The thrill of nearly missing it outweighs the minor inconvenience of actually missing it. Trait number 3, psychological time blindness. This is a deeply cognitive trait where individuals genuinely struggle to accurately perceive the passage of time. Imagine 2 people, each spending an hour on a task. For one, who loves the task, that hour might genuinely feel like 15 minutes. For the other, on a boring task, an hour feels like 3. This isn't a lack of trying, it's a difference in internal clock speed. Psychologists call this a time horizon discrepancy, where your brain's prediction of how long something takes is consistently off. They are often genuinely surprised when the clock shows a later time than they expected. Where did the time go? Is not a rhetorical question for them. It's a genuine expression of a distorted internal experience. This can be linked to conditions like ADHD, but even in neurotypical individuals, variations in time perception are common. Their brain's stopwatch simply isn't calibrated the same way as everyone else's. Trait number 4, Subconscious resistance. For a fascinating segment of late people, tardiness isn't an accident. It's a subtle act of rebellion. If their life feels overly scheduled, controlled by external demands, or dictated by others' expectations, lateness becomes an unconscious way to reclaim autonomy. It's a quiet defiance against the clock, against being entirely owned by the schedule. They might be consciously trying to be on time, but deep down, their psyche is resisting the very structure that makes punctuality possible. This isn't about outright rebellion, it's more like a subtle psychological strike. By making others wait, they indirectly assert their own importance and control over their own time. It's a way of saying, my time is valuable, and I control it even if they're not fully aware they're saying it. The subtle power imbalance created by lateness can, for some, be a psychological necessity. Lateness, then, is far from a simple character flaw. It's a complex interplay of optimism, the craving for adrenaline, distorted time perception, and even subconscious acts of resistance. Understanding these traits isn't an excuse, but a powerful starting point for cognitive correction. If you recognize these patterns, you now know the problem isn't your watch, but the fascinating wiring of your brain.